Okay, if you've recently been in a crash in Oregon, first of all, take a deep breath. We know how incredibly stressful the aftermath can be. But here is the thing. The outcome of your insurance claims, and really any potential legal disputes, hinges almost entirely on one single piece of paper. Getting your hands on an official accident report is the absolute foundation for protecting yourself financially and legally moving forward. So in this explainer today, we're going to break down exactly how you navigate the system to get that crucial document. Now, you might be wondering, can I just look this up online? Well, right when you need this vital paperwork the most, Oregon's unique laws might throw you a massive curveball. A lot of folks assume there's just one magical, centralized database where you type in your name and print out your crash report. But in Oregon, that's simply not the case. The system is split up, the confidentiality laws are super strict, and asking the wrong agency will quite literally get you nowhere. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, why you need this report. Second, the two types of Oregon reports. Third, the step-by-step request process. Fourth, expected fees and timelines. Fifth, common roadblocks and solutions. And finally, crucial legal considerations. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, why you need this report, which is the foundation of your insurance and legal claims. Think of a police report as your absolute best friend right now. Why? Because it captures neutral, on-the-scene facts. It locks in the exact date, time, and location, and identifies everyone involved, their insurance details, and even the weather and road conditions at that exact moment. But honestly, the real game changer is that it captures early witness statements and officer observations before memories start to fade, or worse, before the other driver decides to suddenly change their story. Insurance companies rely heavily on this unbiased narrative when they're figuring out fault and damages. Moving right along to Section 2, two types of Oregon reports. This is absolutely the biggest point of confusion for drivers. Get this. Under Oregon law, any accident report submitted directly by a driver, which is known as Form 73532, is strictly confidential. That's right. If you fill out this mandatory form yourself, it essentially drops into a confidential black hole. The DMV is legally prohibited from giving a copy of that specific document to anyone. Not to the other driver, not to the insurance companies, and, crazy enough, not even to you, the driver who actually filled it out. So to be completely clear here, there are two totally separate documents. You've got your driver's submitted report, which is mandatory and confidential, and then you have the law enforcement report. That one is filed by the responding police officer, it's matter of public record, and it requires a fee to obtain. When we talk about getting your accident report, you're always looking for the law enforcement report because your own driver's submitted paperwork is entirely off limits. Okay, Section 3, step-by-step request process. Let's cover how to actually get your hands on the document. Just follow these 4 simple steps, and you'll bypass the most common bureaucratic headaches entirely. Step 1, you have to figure out who actually showed up at the scene. Step 2, gather your specifics. Police write hundreds of these reports, so you need exact dates, locations, and the names of the people involved to help them search. Step 3, choose your method. Digital portals are by far the quickest, though you might have to use mail or go in person for some rural agencies. And step 4, just pay the required administrative fee. Now, going back to step 1 for a second, because Oregon doesn't have one big single database for all police reports, you kind of have to play detective to identify the agency. If your crash happened on I-5 or a state highway, it's highly likely the Oregon State Police handled it. If you were out on a rural county road, you're going to need to contact that specific county sheriff's office. And if you were sitting at an intersection downtown, a municipal department, like the Portland Police Bureau or Eugene PD, is the one holding your record. Once you know exactly who to ask, the key here is patience. Oregon law gives law enforcement officers 10 days to submit their crash reports to the state after their investigation. So if you're trying to request the report on day 2 or 3, you're just going to get a super frustrating record not found message. The officer literally just hasn't finished typing it up and filing it yet. Let's look at the logistics in Section 4. Expected fees and timelines. Here is what it costs and how long it takes. As you'll see, the fees are all over the place depending on the jurisdiction. A standard photocopy from the state DMV is a flat $8.50. Going straight to the Oregon State Police is usually $10. But cities set their own rates, so you might see a $5 bargain in Eugene or $12.50 just for the first 10 pages in Portland. If you're doing this online, a credit card works great, but snail mail or in-person requests usually require a check or money order. So piecing the timeline together, after that initial 10-day window for the officer to even file the report, standard processing by the clerks takes another 5 to 10 business days. Realistically, you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks before you're holding that document. And a quick heads up. If the crash was severe, involved a fatality, or sparked a criminal investigation, that report is going to be locked down for weeks or even months until the whole investigation wraps up. All right, Section 5, Common Roadblocks and Solutions. Let's troubleshoot your request. Look, even if you do everything right, you might hit a wall. If your request gets denied or comes back empty, it almost always boils down to 3 things. Number 1, you asked too early. The fix? Just wait past that 10-day window. Number 2, you hit up the wrong agency, or you asked the DMV before the local police forwarded their copy over. The solution there is to always go directly to the local agency that responded first. And number 3, you didn't give the records clerk enough info to actually find your file. So always provide exact dates, times, and full names, especially if you happen to lose your original case number. We're in the home stretch. Section 6, Crucial Legal Considerations. Let's cover privacy laws and your reporting duties. So technically anyone can request a public record, right? But under Oregon's record privacy law, if you don't legally qualify to view someone's personal information, the agency is only going to give you a heavily redacted, sanitized copy. We're talking names, addresses, and insurance policy numbers totally blacked out. To get the unredacted version that you actually need for your insurance claim, you have to prove you're a driver, passenger, or property owner involved in the crash, or that you're their official insurance agent or legal rep. And hey, you've got your own legal duties here too. Remember that confidential driver-submitted report we talked about earlier? Even if the police show up, write their own public report, and hand you a citation on the spot, you absolutely must independently file your own Form 73532 with the DMV within 72 hours if the crash caused an injury, a death, required a towed vehicle, or resulted in more than $2,500 in property damage. If you don't file this form, the state can literally suspend your driving privileges. So whatever you do, do not wait for the police report to file your own paperwork. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? Getting your Oregon crash report is actually highly manageable once you just know the rules of the game. You've got to know the difference between your mandatory driver form and the public police report. Take a minute to identify the specific local agency that responded, use their online digital portals if they have them, and just be patient with that 10-day filing timeline. Before we wrap up, a quick reminder. While we love making these tricky administrative rules clear and accessible for you, this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. Every single accident has completely unique circumstances, so you should always consult a personal injury attorney or local law enforcement for specific professional legal advice regarding your accident and your claims. The road out there can be wildly unpredictable, but your paperwork, it really doesn't have to be. Armed with this knowledge, you are totally empowered to handle the bureaucracy. But it does leave you with a critical question to ask yourself right now. If the unexpected happened tomorrow, would you just be a victim of the crash or a victim of the system? Drive safe, stay informed, and keep learning.